all patients with a kidney injury need imaging? The answer is no, and there are certain indications for it. First of it is a patient with a penetrating trauma with a likelihood of renal injury. Likelihood means some history or something is there which is suggesting a renal injury. So what is that history? Injury to the abdomen, flank, ipsilateral rib fracture, significant flank ecchymosis, lower chest entry or exit wound. We've all just seen this and come through this. Okay, we've just covered it and come right now. So if any of this history is there and there is a penetrating trauma, they are asking you to evaluate the patient. Of course, the patient has to be stable. If he's unstable, you will be taking the patient to the OR or the operation theatre. In short, I want you guys to remember that all penetrating trauma wounds, you will do a CT scan, not you will do your imaging modality. Don't think about the rest of it. Forget about flank pain, abdominal pain, whatever. Penetrating injury in the vicinity of a renal area or the renal possibility of renal injury, go ahead and do a renal imaging. With regards to blunt trauma, if there is significant acceleration or deceleration mechanism of injury history, do a renal imaging. Blunt trauma with gross hematuria, whether it is adult or whether it's a child, you will do renal imaging. Okay? Whether it is adult or child, doesn't matter, you will do renal imaging. But if it is blunt trauma with microscopic hematuria, okay, and hypotension. Microscopic means more than 5 RBC, hypotension means less than 90 millimeters of mercury. So microscopic hematuria plus hypotension, do renal imaging. Microscopic hematuria without hypotension, not necessary. That is what it means. Okay. But in children, okay, in children with or without shock, microscopic hematuria, if it is there, go ahead and do renal imaging. We just discussed this. Okay. In children, I've told you the impact of the injury is more significant, more greater. So even if you have microscopic hematuria without shock, with shock definitely you have to do, be it adult or child. In a child, even without shock, you have to evaluate and do renal imaging. Now, what is the imaging of choice or what is the investigation of choice? It is a contrast enhanced TT with immediate and delayed images. I want you to pay attention to this. Delayed images is the clue here and it has to be mentioned. Okay, please make it a point. Delayed imaging must be mentioned in your answer. And this is the best method for genitourinary imaging and there is a reason for it. That is because with the help of your CT scan, you can look at the renal parenchyma, definitely. You can look for associated injuries like, let us say, liver, spleen, mesenteric vessels, or your intestine, colon. All these associated injuries can be identified with the help of a CT scan. Yes. Vascular injuries of the kidney, that means renal artery injury. All this can be identified with a CT scan. Retroperitoneal injuries, like other retroperitoneal injuries to major vessels like the IVC, the aorta, all that can be picked up with a CT scan. And hence, that is the reason why a contrast enhanced CT with both the immediate and delayed imaging is the investigation of choice. Now, a quick recap. We have covered all this, but we'll just run through it again. What are the phases of contrast CT? First one is scout film, where you're going to do a plain CT, and we already know this. That is the investigation of choice for urolithiasis or stones in the urological system. Next, you have your early arterial phase. That means you're going to give the contrast and take the film within 20 to 30 seconds. That is because the contrast that you have given has gone to the heart. From the heart, it's gone to the aorta, aorta to the renal vessels. So immediately if you take this particular CT scan, you will see the contrast in the renal artery. Now, if there is any injury to the renal artery, you can make out here. That means is the contrast leaking or is the contrast not going into the renal vessels. All this you can make out with the early arterial phase. Then you have the corticomedullary followed by the nephrogenic phase. That means then the dye from the renal artery goes into the kidney. Here it goes to the parenchyma. That means first it's going to go to the cortex, then the medulla, and finally into the collecting system. That is the flow. Now please note, for this particular dye to get into the kidney, get filtered and then get thrown out into the collecting system. That means excreted into the collecting system will take some time because the kidney has to function. and this time is roughly 7 to 10 minutes. Okay, so by the time the dye reaches the collecting system, that is called as the excretory phase. That means by the time it reaches the renal pelvis. Now your last film should be here. That is because you are trying to assess injuries to the collecting system. That means, is there any injury with the renal pelvis? Is there any injury with the upper ureter? Is there any extravasation of the urine? All this you can identify only with a delayed image. And like I told you, if it is going to take 7 to 10 minutes, your idea is you need to shoot this particular film, or you need to send the patient back in for CT after 10 minutes of dye injection. After 10 minutes of dye injection, not before that. If you do it before that, you might miss out on the injuries of the collecting system. Now, we spoke very highly of the CECT, but can there be disadvantages? Yes, that is because this can't identify venous injuries. So far we spoke, you're going to give the dye in the vein, it will go to the heart, from the heart to the aorta, from the aorta to the renal artery to the parenchyma to collecting system. Where is the vein? There is no mention of the vein. There is no contrast going back in the vein. So venous injuries can be missed. Second, patient has to be stable. If you look at the hemodynamic stability, patient has to be stable. Why? Because you need to take your film after 10 minutes. So this is not a 2-minute procedure. You have to be there for at least 10 minutes after giving the contrast. So you need the patient to be extremely stable. If the patient is unstable, take him to OT. Don't waste time doing the CT scan. Take him to OT directly. That is what it means. Next, you need to use IV contrast. And we know that all IV contrasts are nephrotoxic. All IV contrasts are nephrotoxic. Now, if the patient has had a renal injury, there is already some impairment of the renal function. Over and above that, if you give contrast, the contrast will further damage the particular kidney, which will lead to further worsening of the renal parameters. That is why this is a small disadvantage of this particular imaging modality. Last is with regards to timing of the contrast. Like I told you, it needs an experienced person to know when to give the dye, when to take the film. Okay? And I've told you, you will take about 10 minutes after injecting the dye to get your excretory phase or the delayed phase. Now, if you don't do that, you are missing out on injuries of the collecting system, such as a uretropelvic junction injury, okay, or a renal pelvis injury. All this can be missed. Now, there are certain features which tell you that this is a very big injury or a major injury or a high grade or a significant injury. Now, what is this? These are your grade 4, grade 5. Grade 4 and grade 5 injuries. Now, in this, there are certain findings that kind of indirectly tell you. First of which is a medial hematoma. Medial hematoma means, let's quickly draw our transverse section again. This is the kidney. That is your renal vessels coming towards the aorta and the vena cava. Now, when they say a medial hematoma, that is somewhere in this vicinity, correct? Medial. And the other one is lateral. So, in this vicinity, if you are having a particular hemorrhage, can it be possible that it is bleeding from the renal artery? It can be. And the minute the vessels are involved, what does it mean? It is a grade 4 injury. That is what we are trying to say. Same thing with regards to urinary extravasation. If it is a medial urinary extravasation, that means some urinoma in this particular area. Again here, the chance of it being because of a renal pelvis injury or a upper ureteric injury is much higher, okay, whenever we talk about a medial urinary extravasation. Last one, if there is a global lack of contrast enhancement, that means the dye which has come to the aorta has not gone into the kidney. It has got blocked off for some reason. Either there is a block or a thrombus in the renal artery, or the renal artery is avulsed. That means this falls under grade 5. Grade 5 of the AST classification. So if there is no contrast going into the kidney, it is going to become a grade 5, and that is called as the cortical rim sign. And the last one is combination of 2 or more of the following. That means it can be a perinephric hematoma, but it should be at least 4 centimeters in size. if there is a medial renal parenchymal laceration, okay, rather than just hematoma, or there can be a laceration which is going inside the kidney. But again, if it is medially, higher chance of it involving the collecting system. So automatically the classification goes on to grade 4 AAST. If there is vascular contrast extravasation, that means from the renal artery, it suggests a significant bleeding. That means a brisk active bleeding, which constitutes to grade 4 of your AAST classification. So if you have either of these three or 2 out of these 3, then you are going to call this as a major injury of the kidney.